Interpersonal neurobiology is the study of the mind-body connection and our relationships, not just within our mind, but between each other. So your brain is continuously changing, pruning, growing, rewiring itself, and new connections are being formed, new cells are growing, structural and functional changes are happening in the brain. And so what we do every day, what we pay attention to, literally transforms your brain. We are shaping, sculpting our brain by what we do and how we behave. So you have a lot of say in who you are. And this is a great opportunity for healing, since so many conditions we once thought were irreversible, now we can see how people can heal. And art therapy is particularly fit for this brain healing because it taps in to the right side of the brain. We've got our left side where the logic, linear language, literalness is going on, and the right side, which is more receptive, holistic, and visual, spatial, where social understanding happens. And ideally, we want to integrate the right and the left side of the brain to regulate emotions, increase our sense of mastery and control, and promote healing. The changes in chemistry in our brains result in new learning and body-mind healing. And tapping into that right brain and processing the left brain information makes that much more effective. So when we're working on something and we go into the flow, you hear about that, getting into the zone, is that shift that happens in your system when the right side of your brain and the left side of your brain are working in unison. And if we pay attention to that and recognize when we're in that space, we can tap into that as a resource for healing and maintaining a balanced system of wellness. So as you're with someone in an open, comforting, compassionate connection with someone in an interpersonal relationship, and they're remembering a story, by them retelling it to you, they're initiating new neural firing that will now become associated with those events. So someone telling a painful story, when it's met with empathy and kindness, it's creating new synapses. And this connection, this integration, we want not only between our relationships with other people, but also internally within our brains. We want the right and the left side of the brain to be integrated, and also we want the inner and the outer parts of the brain to be integrated. The inner parts of the brain are the amygdala, the hippocampus, and areas of our brain that are more reactive, the implicit memory, the impulses that we have, our sensations and images, our nonverbal sort of sense of how life works. And this is all below our level of conscious awareness. And then to modulate all that is the prefrontal cortex, the outer part of your brain, which helps you to regulate those emotional things that are coming up in us. And so with awareness and attunement, we can learn to recognize when we feel stimulation to deep emotional centers, and we can have some sort of conversation with ourselves about what's happening and have some sort of balance and regulation, and that comes from integrating different parts of the brain and integrating with other people. So mindsight is a new way of thinking about ourselves and our minds and other people. And Dan Siegel, who's the person who coined the term interpersonal neurobiology and mindsight, is doing a lot of work towards this, creating programs that help people to integrate the brain by understanding their inner lives more clearly and enhancing their relationships with other people.